I need to explain something fundamental to you. There are many different protective rituals, and people often talk about what kind of rituals to use for protection. But let me tell you one thing. From my years of experience and practice, no matter what protective rituals you perform, you won't be able to completely avoid curses or negative energies. Why? Let me explain. Imagine someone tells you that performing a certain protective ritual every day will keep you safe. Today, you do the ritual. Great, you feel happy and secure. But tomorrow you wake up late, rush to work, and forget to do it. And what happens then? Let's say you get into an argument with someone, or maybe you unknowingly cross the street in a place where someone thinks you shouldn't have. Without realizing it, someone curses you. Maybe a driver who is annoyed, a passerby, or even a store clerk. At that moment, you've already absorbed that negative energy. Now the next day, you remember to do your protective ritual again. But by then, you're already burdened with that curse, and no daily ritual will remove it. That's the key issue. And there's another thing. Protective rituals won't save you from generational curses. Why? Because generational curses are inherited from birth. They pass down from generation to generation. So, if you were born with such a curse, no simple ritual will remove it. Many people ask me, so what can I do to truly protect myself? The first and most important step is to seek someone with deep knowledge. Someone who has inherited this wisdom from their ancestors, their mother, grandmother. Someone who can recognize whether you have a curse and what type it is. That person must first remove the curse or negative energy before you can even think about protective rituals. And even then, as I mentioned, these rituals have limited effectiveness. That's why the best solution is to establish a proper spiritual protection, a shield that truly prevents curses and evil intentions from affecting you. Let me share something from my life. When I was a child, my mother and grandmother taught me how to remove curses, generational curses, and negative influences. Even as a little girl, I would wonder, but what next? How many times can we keep removing curses from the same person? For example, some people had neighbors who constantly cursed them, and my mother and grandmother had to repeatedly cleanse them. I kept thinking, isn't there a way to stop these curses from affecting them in the first place? Later in life, when I was older, I traveled abroad and received special initiations, deep spiritual knowledge that allowed me to create powerful protections for people in need. When someone contacts me, sends their photo, and describes their situation, I cleanse them from curses, remove generational curses, and prepare a proper protection for them. And this protection must be activated in a specific way. It is linked directly to the person's energy, acting as a strong shield. This type of protection doesn't just guard against curses and black magic, but even against serious accidents and misfortunes. People have told me incredible stories about how their lives changed after setting up such protection. Without proper protection, no matter how much we try to shield ourselves, some negative energy will always find a way to reach us. Many people underestimate how often curses and negative intentions affect them. But think for a moment, have you ever cursed someone in anger? A friend, a neighbor, a family member? If so, then you know that such energy flows in both directions. So yes, protective rituals can help, but only if they are done correctly, consistently, and with true understanding. Unfortunately, many articles and sources about these rituals do not provide the full picture. And one more thing, true spiritual protection is not something just anyone can create. It took me years of learning and initiation to gain this knowledge. My skills, my faith, and my practice were tested before I was granted full understanding of how to prepare these protections, and they are incredibly powerful. I have seen cases where people had black magic or voodoo curses placed on them, often through rituals involving dolls and other dark practices. But when they were given the right protection, that negative energy was reflected back to its source. This is why it's important to understand how all of this works, so that you can make the right decision about who to turn to for help. I wish you all the best. Send SMS UK +44 760 888. Australia +61 0431 to 380 470 www.holistic-consultations.com